Welcome back to Parramatta. It is the final match of round 3 in the NRLW as the Eels play their first match at home. They come up against the impressive Gold Coast Titans, who won their first match in the competition and as a club in the NRLW last week against the Sydney Roosters. And in terms of their lineup, a couple of changes from that win last week. Lauren Dam replaced on the wing by the 18-year-old Hayley J. Maunsell, and a big loss in the front row. Shannon Martor is replaced by Jessica Elliston in the starting side. Laker Clark comes onto the bench. And here come the Parramatta Eels. They've also got a couple of changes from last week. Abby Church into the starting side for Horn. And then Jade Etherton comes onto the bench. Emily Curtin is in for Naitoka Toka at 5'8". Ben Homer with you for the call, alongside Newcastle Knight, Kira Dibb. Good afternoon, Kira. Good to have you along for this one.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So it will be the Gold Coast Titans to kick this one off, sitting in third place on the table after that big win over the two-time grand finalists, the Sydney Roosters, last week. Maddie Studden, obviously a key for the Parramatta Eels. Kicked them to victory in round 1. So it's the Titans getting us underway in Parramatta, chasing back-to-back wins in the NRLW. The home side with first use of it as they look to turn around their form after that loss to the Dragons last week. 10-0 in driving rain in Wollongong. Here's Taufa. Lungi has come in at hooker. With Maynard, another one of those changes for the Eels, out of the side. Emily Curtin on debut, just handing it across. And the Eels with a good start to this one inside Titans territory. Lungi back to Curtin, her first kick in the NRLW. Finds the sideline. Confidence-boosting start to the match, that for the Eels.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm really excited to watch Emily play, actually. We play against her back at Harvey Norman level, so I'm so excited that she's gotten the debut today.
Vice-captain of the New South Wales under-18 side, and such an exciting prospect.
In the middle. You want to go in? Go in.
The Gold Coast Titans.
Wait. Go.
With Destiny Brill trying to play it, and into the starting side for them. Natsu Puna made her debut last week against the Dragons, got the offload away. And now Politi almost running over the top of Tiana Penatani. And now Steph Hancock gets it up to within 11 of the halfway line. The 40-year-old front rower turned the big 4-0 on Wednesday, still going. The oldest player in the NRLW, oldest player in the Titans, obviously playing with the youngest now, with Maunsell starting today, the 18-year-old. Natapuna just doing enough to hang on to the ball. Brayley Nati onto Kimiora. Brayley Nati from Tasman Grey. Back it comes to Gray for the bomb. It's a tumbler, and it's going to bounce awkwardly for the Eels. Back for Karina Brown. She pops it over the top. Definitely a forward pass, but an exciting start to the match from the Gold Coast.
Yeah, very exciting. It's good to see the urgency in them today.
And it's a good time to check in downstairs with Nico Paharilia. How are conditions down there, Nico?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. It's starting to drizzle a little bit, but conditions, I'll tell you what, are slightly better than the absolute deluge that befell Wynn Stadium last week. The rain actually wasn't too bad for the Titans match, but it began pouring when the Eels came on. Their centre, Tiana Penatani, said on 360 this week that conditions prevented them from implementing any of their tactics, and Coach Dean Witters told them afterwards not to think too much about the loss, just focus on the Titans. We'll see how they bounce back here today.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nico. Just see a high shot there. Penalty going the way of the Parramatta Eels. To Taufa up towards the halfway line. Yeah, there's nothing more difficult, Kira, than playing in those kind of conditions. You know that the torrential rain that was in that Eels-Dragons match last week. The ball was kicked along by Penatani. Gets it on the inside to Vetty Welch, and she will score for the Parramatta Eels. Their first try at home. It wasn't conventional, but it was effective. And Vetty Welch has her first try in Eels colours. And Kira, you're giving this one the all clear. There's the kick from Penatani. That's all good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all good. It's a good try putting, Maddie Studden over the line. Very good play. I say it's clean.
Yeah, Maddie Studden, sorry, the halfback getting over for the Parramatta Eels. The hero in round one in that clash against the Newcastle Knights. And what a start it was for the home side. Just 5 minutes into this one. Now she'll have a chance to convert the try. Her first in the NRLW. 10 from 14 across her career in the competition. And slotted perfect. Well, it's come back off the crossbar. It was online. Didn't quite have the power. Let's check in downstairs with Nico.
Yeah, superstar of the game, Maddie Studden, of course, kicked the match-winning field goal in the opening round against the Knights. Saved the try alongside Vetty Welch last week. She said yesterday on our Super Saturday coverage, because the Eels are a completely new squad, getting their execution right has still been the main focus at training. She said they'll need to build pressure and be smarter around the ball. And if the opening stance is anything to go by, they certainly look to be doing that today.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. So an early setback now for the Gold Coast Titans. Studden, that's about as close as you can come. So the Eels looking to back up that try-scoring set with a strong one in possession here. Wright playing the ball. Curtin in there at dummy half. Popped up now to Taufa, scored in that opening round victory against Newcastle. Studden, here's Vetty Welch. And finding into the arms of Penatani, who's on the outside of Karina Brown, flings it back on the inside. And it's picked up by Zara Canfield. And Jasmine Peters in possession for the Titans. And Kira, I think the Eels enjoying playing on a dry track this afternoon.
Yeah, most definitely. We were on the bus back when we watched their last game, and I've never seen rain that bad to play in.
Yeah, there were puddles all over the field in Wollongong. Brayley Nati, Natapuna, very strong in possession. She gets the offload away. Brayley Nati finds Brayley Nati. Rafstrand Smith back on the angle. And now Steph Hancock into Politi, who is running with pace. And Maddie Studden was hanging on for dear life. She pulls down the fullback. Griffin exploring the short side, puts it on the toe, and that's a good grab from Abby Church. And Vetty Welch taking a run inside her own 10. This is going to be a difficult set for the Eels. What's the key here for the home side here, Kira?
They need to find their kick for sure. The amount of pressure that they've started to build already has been really excellent. but they've got to make sure that they keep that down, because the amount of experience in the Titans team will come back from this if they don't execute little kicks like that.
Wright was crunched in there. Brayley Narty is holding the head. She is slow to her feet, so there could be a problem here for the Titans. Their hooker down. There's a knock on. So the problem's compounding for the visitors. And there is certainly a bit of blood coming from the head of Brittany Brayley Narty. To be a head clash with Jamie Ann Wright. Oh, may a bit of friendly fire from Tasman Gray as well, so she's going to go off for a HIA, and that's a really difficult one for the Titans to deal with now, Kira.
Yeah, most definitely. Brittany's experience on the field is like so necessary to keep this team together, especially within that spine. So how they step up from here is going to be game-changing for them.
I was going to say Georgia Hale would be the like for like, and you'd expect she'll come. And are you expecting her to play at lock and Brill go to dummy half, or Hale to hooker and then Brill stays at lock?
I think either way is going to be a dangerous combo. We saw how Brill could play at Origin.
Vetty Welch stepping back off the left. Crunched in there by Griffin and also Peters.
Georgia Hale's experience on a field is incredible. She is such a leader out there regardless of where she plays.
Yeah, former Young New Zealander of the Year a couple of years back. Her side's doing the defensive work right now, though. They can't afford to concede another try. Vetty Welch stepping off the right. She's going to be held in the tackle. Hancock and Brayley Narty. Malungi pops it back up, and looking for the unload is Hanisi. Malungi now back to Vetty Welch, on the bounce to Penatani. With the bend, pops it up to Abby Church. Into the starting side today, scores her first in the NRLW, and what a start this is for the Parramatta Eels. And Kira just using the width on offer, the Eels.
Yeah, most definitely. It was a great recovery from that ball going down. A little bit of footwork to get on the outside of Jasmine Peters that really converted that try for him.
Just beautiful work here, wasn't it, from Penatani to fend on Jasmine Peters, and then over goes Church. Scored for St Mary's 3 times in 8 matches in the New South Wales Women's Premiership last season. Works as a paramedic and actually is part-time at the moment due to her NRLW commitments. Good finish as well. Now a chance for Maddie Studden to make it a 10-point lead here for the Eels. You've played alongside Tiana Penatani, Kira. She is obviously one of the best centres in the game. You could see why there. We'll come back to that in a second as we see Studden. Tough kick from close to the sideline. Well struck, and she's hit the post again. You wouldn't read about it. 2 kicks, both off the post. Nico Pajarillo got a great view down on the sideline.
Oh, terrible luck there. But I'll tell you what, she's a talent, Abby Church. As you mentioned, Benny, into the starting side this week for Rakea Horn. She's a Western Sydney girl through and through. Abby Church from Fairfield. Only began playing rugby league in 2019 for the Camden Rams. She's certainly making a mark in the NRLW.
Thanks, Nico. And Natani absolutely pumped for Church, who scores her first in the competition. 8-0 the lead for the Eels, so not as big as it could be. Two difficult kicks for Maddie Studden, both off the post. There's a driving tackle from the Gold Coast Titans. Have you seen that before, Kira?
Oh, unfortunately, absolutely. Those ones are heartbreaking when it feels good off the boot and just comes off the upright.
What about two in a row? Have you ever had two in a row into the post?
Nah, not in a game, I wouldn't say.
Benny Welsh right through the middle. The Eels absolutely electric this afternoon. And Politi, well, did have a good grasp, and then Benny Welsh almost popped away from her. Lungi. And then shoveled on by Cherrington to Taufa. And Jemima Taufa with a Parramatta chance. Plays the ball. Oh, what a hole from right. Somehow she doesn't get there. Lungi. It got a little bit scrappy for the Eels on the final play. And it's going to go over the sideline. It promised so much and it delivers nothing for Parramatta, but this is great footy to watch from the home side.
Most definitely, you do not want to give Bo that much space. Between Bo and Tamika Upton, they are the two fullbacks in our game. You cannot allow to run that much because they really should have got that try off that set.
Well, I'd almost go as far as saying no fullback in the NRLW. You think of the quality, Tonagato, Teitzel, of course, your teammate, Kira.
Yeah.
Pretty special fullbacks on offer to watch in this season of the NRLW. That Australian #1 jumper is going to be a really difficult one.
Definitely going to be the hardest jersey to pick, I think. The fullbacks that we've got in the game at the moment are all extremely dangerous.
Hancock. Now Brill. Knocked away from the first couple. And then met by Taufa. Lungi also there with Cherrington. This is Kimura Brayley-Nati. Benny Welsh comfortably tracking back, getting underneath it. And is driven back. Was there a little knock on? Yes, there was. So opportunity presents here for the Titans, but there is the hint here of a crusher tackle. And Casey Badger is going to have a check of that. Yeah, that looks like a crusher, Kira.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to come back as a crusher tackle for sure.
So what have you made of this opening 14 minutes or so?
Yeah, it's a great contest so far. The Eels have really come out firing, and I honestly think they've surprised the Titans with the amount of pressure that they've put on really early. So it's been a really good start.
And they needed to, didn't they, after that strong Titans performance last week. And we just see pressure on the neck from Gray. It was really compounded by Brayley-Nati as well.
Okay, Karina.
So Karina Brown being called out by Casey Badger.
All right.
It's a long way to run.
Against you for a crusher, you've dropped your legs out, so it's on report and a sin bin.
And it is a sin bin as well. Well, that is significant. So what a turnaround. They thought they had the ball 10 metres out from the Eels line due to a knock on. Instead, it's a crusher, and the Titans are down to 12 players.
Yeah, that's going to hurt them for the long run, especially coming from behind. One player down is absolutely not what they needed right now.
What'd you make of the sin binning?
I think it's a rough call. But they do come down hard on stuff like that at the moment. So, for the safety of the game, I do understand.
So can the Eels, who have been electrifying in the opening part of this match, take full advantage of the Titans down to 12. Studden scored the opening try. Pops it into the path of Piot. She has lost a boot. Go back and grab that as Studden fires it out to Curtin. Put down by Jamie N. Wright. They had an overlap out there, the Eels. Frustration for the second rower.
Yeah, I think with such experience coming from Maddie Studden, the game should look a little bit more direct with the player down. But the thing they're going to have to watch for is their composure. They know that there's a player down, but if they keep rushing, they'll keep getting errors like that.
You are on the clock. Let's get our heads in. All right, scrum clock is off. We didn't have a ball.
Well, there's no footy. That's the issue at the moment.
All right, I'll tell you when. All right, heads down.
So we're all good to go now. Kimiora Brayley-Nati to feed the scrum. And they love the fact that they've got possession in this kind of territory down to 12. Try and keep it down here as long as they can until they get Tasman Gray back on the park. Is Elliston promoted to the starting side this afternoon with Martor out with injury. Brayley-Nati now into the arms of Brill. Shook off the first. Strong contact with Cherrington. Was brought to ground. Hale across to the left. It's the Eels who look short of numbers, and Ralph Smith is reaching out and was short and has lost it in the end.
Where do you want the scrum? Scrum in the middle.
Terrific defending from the Eels, but there was space out wide for the Titans.
Yeah, she's an incredible player coming through the ranks at the moment. It's just unfortunate that she lost control reaching out for that try.
So maybe an opportunity goes begging there for the Gold Coast. Will Ralph Smith be forced off for a HIA here? They don't need that. They've got Brayley-Nati. That's Brittany Brayley-Nati off the park. The HIA at the moment. Ralph Smith given the all clear. And they've also got Tasman Gray off in the sin bin. So they're going to have to be resilient this afternoon, the Gold Coast. Studden and Penatani. Lungy shuffled on by Taufa and into the arms now of Piot. And Curtin, Jamie-Ann Wright is going to be taken 10 short of the halfway line. Lungy spots some space around the ruck, and it was juggled by Betty Welsh into the arms of the 18-year-old. And Mortsel is put to the turf on debut. Hale, and now here is Power, Shania Power out there for the Titans. Griffin, Politi pops it out to Karina Brown, scored her first in the NRLW last week, now has a penalty going her way for the high contact from Penatani.
The Titans are doing an incredible job here, not looking like they're a player down at the moment. They really picked up that urgency, and they're almost making the Eels look like they're a player down, which is impressive.
How much confidence would it give them if they were to get over here with only 12 players?
Oh, absolutely, especially with the experience that they've got. They've got a really good ability to do stuff like that.
So Destiny Brill flung to the turf, 5 metres away. Hale, Brayley-Nati, again there looks to be space out in the left. They come back to the middle with Steph Hancock. And she is over just days after her 40th birthday. The Gold Coast Titan scoring her first in the NRLW in her 14th match, the legend of Women's Rugby League. Just all power, wasn't it, Kira, from Steph Hancock? No one was stopping her.
Yeah, absolutely. You see her see the line and she just carries everyone over with her. Down
to 12 players. Didn't she absolutely love it? made her Test debut for Australia in 2003. Queensland Origin debut in 2004, and then was with the Broncos for the first 2 seasons, won 2 premierships before making the switch to the Dragons and now the Titans.
Experience like that in a team environment goes a long way, and you can just see how pumped she is at the end of that. It's the footy you love to see.
Makes the kick a pretty simple one as well, doesn't it, for Kimiora Brayley-Nati?
Most definitely.
So converts. It's a 2-point ball game. Nico Pajarillo sideline.
Yeah, guys, good news for the Titans. Brittany Brayley-Nati has passed her HIA, so she's free to come back on. I just want to talk a little bit about the conditions of the turf. This is the second of 3 games on your Sunday ticket here at CommBank Stadium. We had the match last night between the Tigers and the Storm, and the turf does look a bit chewed up. The players will need to be careful out there. We'll see how they handle it.
So Brittany Brayley-Nati about to head back out there for the Gold Coast Titans. To not forget, straight after this one, the Eels taking on the Gold Coast Titans in the NRL. And then later tonight, the Cowboys and the Bulldogs, the new look Bulldogs. How are they going to go up in Townsville? Big afternoon of footy into the evening here on Fox League. Here in the NRLW, the final match in round 3. The Gold Coast Titans looking to fight back with just 12 players on the park. Tasman Gray sin bin for a crusher tackle. So there are the Eels boys in the house. Nick Gutherson looking pretty relaxed. Politi, is she going to get dragged towards the sideline? She used great strength to keep herself in on that occasion. Just 2.5 minutes now for the Titans to keep their line intact. Good take by Pio. Have not conceded and have scored a try in the period that Tasman Gray's been off the park. So 6-0 Titans since they've gone down to 12 players.
Yeah, it's so impressive to see the Titans kind of lift with that happening.
This will help the Eels. A penalty on the way, a piggyback out of their own red zone. And, well, it's come off Karina Brown, and they're going to get a play the ball here, the Eels. Gee, they've got lucky there.
Yeah, definitely very, very lucky there.
An absolute shank here from Studden. And Karina Brown just couldn't take the catch. Probably wasn't expecting it, Titans captain. So the Eels with Johnston. Taufa shoveled it on. That's going to be played here by the replacement in Kelly Signs. Forward pass from the Eels, so some costly errors letting them down.
Forward pass back in.
Whistle wasn't heard by the Eels and Titans back line, but it will be brought back. It's just been an issue for Parramatta of late, just a few errors after the frenetic start to this one.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's been letting them down. They had such a strong start, and it's just their little errors that are really taking their possession off them.
So Elliston out there for Natupuna. Griffin across field. And now Politi gets it onto Karina Brown. She's quick, not quick enough though. Vetti Welsh and Abby Church across in cover. Politi out of Griffin. Here's Hale. Shania Power pops it out the back. Now using the back line is Brayley-Nati. They have space out wide, and the debutante's going to go over. The 18-year-old, the youngest player at the Gold Coast Titans. Hayley J. Maunsell scores in the corner, and they're in front with 12 players.
Yes, that another incredible one. Vans with that runaway at the beginning, and then their ability to just spread it all the way across the field. Just the Eels just didn't shuffle out in time.
Was outstanding last year for Burleigh in the under-19s competition in Queensland. That's where she was spotted, scoring 4 tries in 3 matches, and then has been part of the Future Titans program. Promoted to the NRLW side after impressing in the pre-season. Brought into the side today for her debut and goes over. What a moment for the teenager. And frustrating for the Eels because they had 13 defenders on 12 from the Titans. And again, they look short down their right-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. The Gold Coast are just doing a really good job creating that extra number.
So another difficult conversion here. This time for Kimiora Brayley-Nati. Looking to continue the perfect goal-kicking record for her this afternoon. Cannot do so. It's a 2-point lead for the Gold Coast Titans. And don't forget, in response to the New South Wales and Queensland floods, the Australian Red Cross has launched the Flood Appeal to provide assistance to affected communities. To support, head to nrl.com/flood relief. And all our thoughts with those affected in southeast Queensland and the northern parts of New South Wales, and of course here in Sydney. It's been a very rough time. So head to nrl.com/flood relief to support that wonderful cause. So the Eels, what a turnaround here. 8-0 up when it was 13 on 13. And then in the 10-minute period where Tasman Gray was off the park, the Gold Coast scored 10 points. And that probably shows you the quality of this Titans side. We know the amount of representative players they've got in it. 8 Origin reps, 6 internationals. And they are just flexing their muscle. Well, hang on a second. Elliston has spilled it. A really good chance here for the Eels.
Yeah, most definitely. If the Eels are going to capitalise on any field possession, it would have to be right now.
You can see out there for Parramatta is Therese Ayton. It's the Titans boys. Kevin Proctor there in the back. Getting set for their round 1 duel against the Parramatta Eels. That's coming up straight after this one on Fox League. Studded out the back to Betty Welsh. Penatani almost hurdling over the top of the Titans defender. Johnston. Can the Eels hit back and get themselves in front? Ayton. Studden. Betty Welsh. Church has got a double. What an afternoon for Abby Church. Brought into the starting side with the injury to Horn. And she puts the Eels back in front. What a first half this has been, Kira.
Absolutely. What an amazing arm wrestle. The footwork from Bo here is just incredible. Once again, you just cannot give her space. She'll find it.
And you can see why she is the New South Wales Origin fullback, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Also one of the nicest people that you've ever met.
Well, hang on a second.
Alan, coming up to tackle 5. We're just reviewing for an obstruction.
Well, just hold on a second, Parramatta fans. Is there an obstruction? Looks to be Penatani who's going to be the player.
Patelli with Betty Welsh takes the ball on the inside of the lead runner and then takes an advantage. We have a decision.
So maybe it looked a little too easy for Betty Welsh, and this will be disallowed.
Those decisions are heartbreaking. We had that in one of our games, and it just hurt so much.
Oh, they're already here.
After one of those decisions goes against you, Kira, how do you reset?
Oh, you just got to keep playing the same way that any other try would get disallowed. So you know that you've put the pressure on them. You know that you've got that little seed of doubt in their minds, and you just got to keep going from there.
So I might have heard the siren in the background. It's definitely not half-time, so I think they're just testing the equipment at CommBank Stadium. Just under 8 minutes remaining in this first half. So a let off there for the Gold Coast Titans, but they're going to have to bring it out from their own end. What's going on here? We've lost the...
Just kicked it out on the full. Tori, was that out on the full?
She tapped that and then proceeded to kick it into touch.
Well, yeah, exactly. So she's basically taken the tap, as you said, Nico, taken the tap and then kicked it into touch. And you would see that a lot in rugby. Obviously, you just kick it up to yourself and play on. You do that, and it's the Eels' ball. That is an absolute calamity for the Gold Coast Titans. Taken the tap and looked to find touch.
I wonder if the hooter mishap had been communicated to the players.
Well, as well. The hooter as well. Everything's happening at CommBank Stadium. The Eels have got a penalty in front, so they could choose to lock it up here at 10 apiece. It's another great point, Kira, whether the players thought it was half-time because the hooter went off. Oh, confusion all round. The Eels are just going to try and slow things down and take the two and give us all a chance just to take a deep breath. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I can only go with what's on the clock. They haven't got full time. I understand what you're saying, but
you're exactly right. The reason why Brayley Narty took the tap and just kicked it into touch was because she thought it was half-time. Because the hooter went off.
You saw all the players start to run off. So I reckon she hasn't had a quick look up at the time. It hasn't been communicated. And she was just trying to finish the half so that her team could go in.
Yeah, it was a mistake on the clock, but I can only go on whether it's full time or not.
Oh, and it's going to cost them 2 points.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever seen that before? Who's bumped the siren? Is that someone accidentally leaned on it or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a heartbreaking mishap, especially with the roll on the Titans had. Maddie's got the chance to make it even.
So has had 2 very difficult attempts at conversion. That one much more simple and put over by Maddie Studden. So we're locked up at 10 apiece. Nico, can you shed any more light on this situation?
Yeah, guys, I looked up at the clock here at the ground when that ball went out on the full, and the clock had reset, like as if it were half-time. So it's understandable that the players thought that it was half-time. Very bizarre.
Oh, well, that makes it even more confusing for the players. Not just the siren, the clock was reset as well. Well, there you go.
That is so heartbreaking. Like, I cannot imagine how that would have felt for the Titans to concede 2 points in that situation.
So we're on an even keel at CommBank Stadium. Back at 10 apiece. It's been one of those halves. Parramatta bursting out of the blocks. The Titans pegging them back, down a player, and now we're at 10 apiece. Betty Welch, now Taufa. I know the lab here at Fox Sports can do anything, but I'm just going to do this on the run. The score in this match when it's been 13 on 13, Parramatta 10-0. The score when it's been the Titans down a player against the Eels, 10-0 to the Titans. Try and make sense of that. Tasman Gray, well, the tackle was called held by Casey Badger, so they're going to have to go back and play it here.
No, it's their ball to me. I'm saying he was held.
Well, okay, so Tasman Gray has been held. She pinched the ball successfully, and the Titans have got it. Final 5 minutes here in Parramatta. We don't know what's going to happen next, but it'll be pretty spectacular if this first half's anything to go by. Big 5-minute period before half-time in defence for the Parramatta Eels. Hale is pushed back. Bailey Nati, and now Gray. She'll be fresh, having spent that 10 minutes in the sin bin. Brittany Brayley-Nati onto Kimiora. Put on the toe by Rafstrand Smith. It is going to roll over the dead ball line just. Well watched by Bo Vetti Welsh. And the Titans have got to get back here quickly, because Vetti Welsh is going to try and take advantage. And she makes 15 metres there from the tap. And it's a 0 tackle. Strong contact on Joseph Daniels. 25th birthday yesterday for the Eels right centre, looking to have a late birthday present today with a win. Now into the arms of Naividi. Stepping left and right is Therese Aitchen, looking for an opening. Couldn't find it. Curtin feeds Studden. Penatani leading the charge here for the Eels. Politi got across. And the two former Sevens players coming together. That's a strong tackle from Taufa. Puts Politi into the turf. What's the key here for both sides? 2.5 minutes before half-time, Kira.
They just need to keep it down their end, keep composed, reduce any errors. If they can put a ball in a corner and then defend it, just try and get points before half-time.
Georgia Hale has had an important first half role with Bailey Nati, the hooker, spending some time off the park. Due to that HIA, now she is probing and pulled down by Ellie Johnston. Destiny Brill scored that try in Origin last year for the Maroons. Is playing the ball. Wasn't a fantastic play, the ball, but she gets away with it. Got the boot to it. And now Gray, Rafstrand Smith over the top to Mortsel. Can she score again? Flings it back into the middle. But it has gone forward, according to Casey Badger.
Where do you want to scrum?
It looked to be a special Titans try brewing.
All right, clock is on.
But it's going to come to nothing. Just try and pick the forward pass. That's definitely gone back. Are you thinking she's knocked that on into an Eels player, Kira? Or
I am not entirely sure, to be honest.
I think that's what the decision is, but is it the correct one? It's a really difficult one. She was looking to get the arms free, so Ayton has got some blood coming from the lip. Here it is. I don't know. I think the Titans are a bit unlucky there. Where are you sitting?
Yeah, I'm not, if it's that collision that's come off, like when she's tried to offload it, like maybe I'd understand there, but I'm not entirely sure.
So there's the collision. It was Brill and Ayton together, and Ayton's going to go off the park.
She's copped a couple of big whacks this season so far.
Yeah, she had that facial injury in round 1 and missed last week because of it. Dempsey Welsh off the scrum, so less than a couple of minutes remaining in this first half at Combank Stadium. The Eels came out on fire, led 8-0 early. The Titans pegged them back. Two cracking games on Fox League in the NRLW today. Round 3 of the competition. A couple left now in the regular season before the finals. And Pia is going to earn her side a penalty. The Gold Coast offside. So is there one final play here for Parramatta? What do you think Maddie Studden's thinking here? What's the game plan? Less than a minute. She'll find touch. Where are they going here, Parramatta?
You just want to move the ball around. They've been scoring on their edges, so have a crack down there again. Keep going until it doesn't work.
Brittany, watch the timing of your hit there.
Johnston just going to take one forward, put it under the arm.
All the way here, Brittany.
The front rower is going to play it. Burton, and now Wright. Hold on to her back. Picked up a dummy half by Etherton, who's out there in 19. Studden out to Betty well. Penatani, good take. It was up next to her shoulder. Studden off the right, puts it on the toe. Abby Church looking for the miracle bounce, and why not? She would have had a hat-trick if she got on the end of that. In the end, a frenetic first half finishes. And it will be halftime definitely now, no doubt about that. It's Parramatta and the Gold Coast locked up at 10 apiece.
La Liga, live, Sky Sports 7 beIN Sports.
And my thought is, why can't one be a gentleman and a pirate? A swashbuckling. Let's have fun with it.
Thursday, the premiere of Our Flag Means Death. Prime.
Looking for a goal-scoring return. Here's Piscopo! What a start! Absolutely livens up the crowd here.
Get behind the Knicks.
Straight into the hands of Oliver Sale.
Yellow Fever is out in force. Catch the games against the Aussies each week live on Sky Sport.
Good awareness, good vision, good shot.
Isuzu Ute A-League. Friday, Sky Sports 7 beIN Sports.
Titans, Warriors, Saturday, live Sky Sport 4. Coverage brought to you by Bunnings Warehouse.
Yes, she's there.
Sky Super Rugby O-Picky, live on Sky Sport.
Oh my goodness. These athletes are absolute champions.
Round 2 of the ANZ Premiership starts Saturday with Pulse Mystics. Sunday, Tactic Stars. Monday, Steel Mystics. Live Sky Sport.
The All Whites take on the best of Oceania for their shot at the FIFA World Cup.
Back to Parramatta. They conceded a penalty and Para ultimately take it.
Titans looking for back-to-back wins. Level with the Parramatta Eels at 10 apiece. Ben Homer with you alongside Kira Dibb for the call of this one. Kira, was almost a half of two halves. The Eels came out really strong, and then the Titans, despite going down to 12 players, fought back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said before, it's quite an arm wrestle this game so far. So it's going to be absolutely key who comes out the strongest here and who can maintain it for the rest of the half.
That's the Titans dressing room. Obviously, Jamie Feeney, experienced coach at NRLW level. What do you think his message was to the side at the break?
To stay in the grind. The favourite thing to say when you're tied up like this, but so important to be reminded of, because the game is, 35 minutes. It's the longest halves that we've played in the NRLW so far. So if they can win the majority of the minutes, they'll win the game.
You sound like you've heard that a lot from coaches, just stay in the grind, the regular halftime speed.
Something like that, something along those lines, especially in tight games like this. Sometimes you've just got to be reminded that, you know, the game isn't won in the first 10 minutes of the half, it's won in the last couple.
You've been impressed by Bo Vetti Welsh. Look at that run meters, absolutely dominating the leaderboard in that department, and she has had a big role in Parramatta's 2 tries.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, you can see she's pumped everyone else on meters so far. So Bo is key to the attack for the Eels. So how she can connect both edges is going to be one of the determining factors as to whether they win this game.
Jasmine Peters scored her first try in the NRLW on debut last week. Hasn't quite got as much space this afternoon. So the Eels coming back out after Dean Witter's halftime address. And they're going to have to tighten up defensively in the second half, aren't they? Especially on that right-hand side. They always look to be short of numbers whenever the Titans move to their left.
Yeah, most definitely. Samaima is a huge point in their defence. She really keeps those middles together. And I think she's top in the counts at the moment. She is. 14 tackles so far for Samaima. So if she can keep the middles tight and the edges stay with her, then they're a better shot.
On the Dally M in 2017, the Female Player of the Year in the season before the NRLW.
It's a big battle between Samaima and Georgia Hale. They're both incredibly hard-working middles, and they really keep teams together.
So it will be the Parramatta Eels who get us started in their second 35 minutes of footy in the NRLW. The final half in round 3 of the NRLW. The Gold Coast Titans with first use of it. And it's Georgia Hale, the player you were just speaking about, introduced earlier than she probably would have expected with that HIA for Brittany Brayley-Narty, and she's played a huge role in this one.
Absolutely. Georgia's got the potential to play whole games, so she'll take any minute she can get, and she's going to go very hard for them.
Gray just popped it up to Brayley-Narty. They make a further 10 metres here. The Titans, third tackle, already inside 40 metres from the Eels line. Tasman Gray was the Titans player sin bin in the first half for the crusher tackle, but they responded well. Rafstrand Smith. Brayley-Narty to Gray, who has done a bit of kicking, the second rower this afternoon. Popped up now into the arms of Power, and shows plenty of power, bumping away from Piot. 6 more tackles for the Titans. Well, they'll get 6 anyway. And the tap is taken, but it is inside the 10, as you heard Casey Badger explain, so no quick tap.
Very smart play there from Shania. She scored a couple tries in her last game for the Warriors last year when we played, so it's always exciting watching.
Well, look at this from Destiny Brill. Has she got to the line? Yes, she has. She had no right to score there, Destiny Brill. Scored in Origin last year, now has her first in the NRLW, and it puts the Titans ahead right after half-time. Just too much power for 4 Eels players.
She did extremely well to get over the line just then.
Just pushing off Studden. Also coming across Etherden. She is so tough and strong. The Queensland Origin representative, born in New Plymouth in New Zealand. Hooker for the Valley's diehards in the Queensland Women's Premiership. Alongside the likes of Ali Brigginshaw. Grace Griffin in that team as well.
Thank you.
So looking to make it a converted try advantage. And well struck by the Titans halfback, but it's under. So online, didn't get there. Let's head down to Nico Paharilio, who's sidelined.
Guys, just a half-time report. Titans coach Jamie Feeney was happy with their attack by the middle. They're really happy with the attack when they had 12 players on their field, but the coach wants to see better edge defense in this half. And just an update, guys, on Therese Aton. She split her lip, but she's passed her HIA and she'll be back.
Thanks, Nico. Yeah, Therese, the sister of former Panther and Shark Paul Aton. Had that facial injury in round 1, so great to hear that she's A-OK and good to come back out there. They'll need her, the Eels. They're going to have to defend here. The Titans have started this second half well. Georgia Hale. So much work in the middle of the field in this first half. Elliston. Hold on to her back. Riley Nati turning it back for Gray, and now Elliston. There's space up the middle for Destiny Brill, and now she's backslammed. That is a strong tackle from Johnston. Taufa also across there. Brilliant stuff, I should say. It was Piot, and now Politi through the line. Will it get to the sideline? It will, which is fortunate for the Eels because the Titans had plenty of chasers down their right-hand edge.
A very good amount of pressure being delivered by the Titans so far this half. They've definitely come on with a lot of urgency.
With the momentum against them, the Eels have to turn the tide back in their favour. They go up towards the 20 in the arms of Naividi. She was driven back a few metres. Betty Welsh, held by Elliston. Bailey Nati over the top, along with Hale. Now popped into the arms of Studden. Quickly distributes left to the two-try scorer in the first half, Abby Church. Crunched is Taufa, maybe not as hard as what it first seemed. Betty Welsh, Studden, the outside of the boot. She's going to run down to Politi. Looking forward to returning next week to the Gold Coast is Ivania Politi, the site of their silver medal at the Commonwealth Games in 2018 for the Aussie Women's 7 side. She was absolutely devastated with that result. Wants to set the record straight next week at Seabus Super Stadium against the Broncos. What a clash that'll be on Saturday. You'll catch that on Fox League. They've still got to get through this one, though, the Titans, before they head into that Queensland derby. Elliston. Rayleigh Nati. Gray, it's a very skinny short side for the Titans. And the Parramatta defence was up to task.
Still a good place to finish. I know they didn't get to their kick and they got taken out on 4th, I believe, but they've still finished in a perfect space on the field to create that pressure on the Parramatta attack, rucking it out.
It's been where the Eels have had possession for most of this second half, isn't it? Inside their own half. Betty Welch trying to turn that around. She's so elusive, the Eels fullback. Studden. Now Johnston going through the fullbacks in the competition and just wondering how Brad McDonald is going to decide who the fullback is for the Gillaroos. Teitzel, Baxter, of course the two in action here, Betty Welsh and Politi, and then you've got Upton and Tonegato. What 6 options there at fullback. Here's an error from Maddie Studden. And the Titans will get the scrum. Not the start to the second half that Dean Witters and the Eels coaching staff would have wanted. Was there an arm in there?
Nah, I don't think that's a strip in there at all. I think that's just a loss of possession.
Head down, in properly, go. In properly, Brittany. Ellie, you've got to be in properly. All right, 2 hands. Walk off. There you go. Right.
Miura Bralinati. Politi just fires it out wide. Mornsell couldn't handle it.
Play the ball.
Great idea. Quick spread out to the left, but put down by the teenage try scorer in the first half.
Great eyes from Vans, and she'll always get the ball there. She's got a killer pass, so unfortunately that one's gone down, but it was a good option.
Don't forget that the premiere episode of Benji, new show on Fox League, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. He's got special guest Damien Cook and Wayne Bennett. That one coming up tomorrow night, 7:30 on Fox League. Do not miss it. Taufa burrowing her way forward, and Aton, she's got the change of jersey, but there is blood still flowing from the mouth. She's been in the wars in the NRLW this season. Inside the 20 here, the Eels. They've been under the cosh for most of this second half. It's a disappointing pass, but picked up by one of the most dangerous players on the field. Venny Wells, she slips through, comes out the other side. That's a try saver from Karina Brown. Studden, grubbering for herself. Brayley Nati, a fellow halfback, read the situation well for the Titans, but that was enterprising from the Eels.
A lot of experience on display there with Goosey, Karina Brown, saving that tackle. She read that and where it was going. And then, yeah, Maddie to get that repeat set. It's very well played.
Do you think the Eels need to get the ball to Vetty Welsh a bit more? Because every time she gets her hands on the ball, she beats a couple of tackles, has run for 166 metres.
That is incredible from Bo. That's incredible.
This is sad for Ayton. So she's changed the shirt, was patched up, and now is being forced off again. They're going to have to stop that blood, the Eels.
It looks like a pretty nasty cut too.
It's a hard one to patch up, isn't it, on the lip? So Malungi is back out onto the park. The Rabbitoh in the New South Wales Women's Premiership. 5 tries in 11 last year for them. The dummy half for the Eels. Pio saw Grace Griffin, ran straight at her. Shania Power as well in there to make the tackle. Studden scored the first try for Parramatta today. Shoveled it on to Cherrington. Malungi, Taufa. Here is Curtin on debut. Emily Curtin. Has she lost it? She thinks she's scored. And at the moment, it's a try on debut for Emily Curtin. But I have no doubt the bunker will be giving this one the full inspection.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this replay.
What about this? The dummy just opened up. What are you thinking here, Kira?
I just want to get a close-up vision of that ball.
Find out. Did it bounce after she got it to the ground? Driven back. Oh, I think that is
I reckon that's a try on debut. That is very impressive footy from a young player.
Emily Curtin into the starting side on debut today. And we are all locked up at 14 apiece. And Politi and Gray, two very strong players. Just was able to wriggle free up top, wasn't she? Get the arms to the line. And now Maddie Studden with a chance to put the Eels in front.
These are the kicks we love, the ones to give you a little bit of an edge. So let's hope it doesn't hit an upright.
If you have missed it, she's hit the upright twice. Oh, she was aiming for it. She misses Maddie Studden. That's a disappointing miss from the Eels halfback. 14 all. Nico's sideline. Are you enjoying this one from pitch level?
I certainly am, Benny. I'll tell you what a performance it's been. Emily Curtin, she's played rugby league since she was 7 years old. Alongside her twin sister, Sophie, she was a standout performer in the Tasha Gale Cup, played 21 games, scored 24 tries, 77 goals and 20 assists. Eventually got promoted to New South Wales Women's Premiership and impressed there as well. Now finds herself in the NRLW and performing outstandingly.
Thanks, Nico. Now, I've heard as well she's a 4-time Australian champion in Muay Thai boxing.
Correct.
Oh, cool.
So, Ali Brigginshaw's very good at that as well, I know. So, yeah, it's a common skill, it seems, for NRLW players. It crosses over nicely. So, Roughstrand Smith with the kickoff. What a match of footy. The final match in round 3 of the NRLW. 14 all. You just can't split these two sides. And the best news, Kira, is we've still got 22.5 minutes remaining in it.
Yeah, absolutely. The games today have been incredible, so it's good footy to watch on a Sunday.
Yeah, and there's still 2 more to come. The Eels and the Titans in the NRL, and then the Cowboys and the Dogs. 4 matches on a Sunday on Fox League. Backslammed is Hanisi. Played all of the matches for the Eels this season. Curtin, confident after scoring on her debut. Politi, they rushed up quickly on Ivania Politi. Ellie Johnson wrapped around the waist and brings down the Titans fullback finally. Mornsell doing some hard yards. Really was crunched into the turf there. The 18-year-old. And looks to be hurt. You could see the grimace on her face after that tackle. Unsurprising, it was Samaima Taufa, such a strong tackler. The Eels lock.
Yeah, absolutely. Samaima is a strong player, an experienced player, and if you give her the opportunity to hit you, she is going to take it.
Just trying to get the arm out, just a really strong tackle into the turf. So hopefully Mornsell is all right. Had a good start to her debut with that try. Elliston has the ball in hand now for the Titans. There's a problem for Mailungi. Now, this is the problem in the dummy half department for the Eels. Aiton's already off because of that blood from the lip, and now Mailungi injured. There's a penalty going the Titans' way here, though, for a strip. Daniels and Naividi looking a bit bemused by that decision, but there was an arm on the ball. Looked to be a clear tug there from Josephine Daniels.
Yeah, her hand looked like it was wrapped around the ball.
Hold for the kick.
I'm going to say that's why they didn't try and challenge it.
Good decision. Well, you try and hold your challenges to late on in this one because it feels like they're going to be needed. Don't want to waste them at this point in the match when a critical moment could arrive in the final 20. Griffin, now Politi with a head of steam. That was a high shot from Pio. And Politi, she's tough, she gets up and plays it. Griffin, Hale on the inside. Squeezed in there is Laker Clark on debut in 16 for the Titans, the 20-year-old. Brayley Nati now for Gray, scored last week against the Roosters. She is tough to stop. There is 4, maybe 5 Eels across there. Brayley Nati off the left, almost backed away to the line, but the halfback is caught. The final play coming up now for the Gold Coast. Rayleigh Nati with the kick. Johnston dives on the loose ball. Brilliant defence again from the Parramatta Eels. They withstand the Titans attacking raid. Johnston getting up quite gingerly. This is a big set of defence coming from the Titans. And the Eels, they have to try and find a way out.
I think Bo is going to be key here. If she can find a little bit of space, get the Eels back on the front foot. Otherwise, it's going to have to be a perfect kick.
Lock in square. Wait, Brittany. Wait, Georgia.
Go. 14 all, 19 remaining at Combank Stadium in Parramatta. The Eels' first home game in the NRLW. Samaima Taufa held in there by Hancock, who's out there. Looked as though held was called. It was. Which is a bit unfortunate for the Eels because Titans have a set line now on the final play. Pass out in front of Studden. She got the kick away. Not as much distance as she would have liked, and Karina Brown has spilled it. It just dropped on her like a stone, and the Titans winger with a little bobble. Thought she might have gotten away with it. Did she get her arms under that? No.
Yeah, careful. I saw Goosey have a quick look up. The sun must be facing her direction as well because she was not impressed.
Get your head down. Head down, step. Block off. Feet. In. Break.
So it was the Titans who scored first after half-time. Can the Eels take the lead back in this topsy-turvy clash?
Wait, Catherine, all the way here. Hold the front. One. Brittany. Square, all the way.
Mailangi. Burton on the outside now for Naividi. Swung to the turf, inside the 10. Playing for the penalty was the thoughts of Casey Badger, the referee. He's had a great game this afternoon, in charge of this one. Taufa, Studden, space for Vetty Welsh. She doesn't need that much territory. And when she gets it, she makes teams pay. And she scores her first try as an Eel and puts her team in front.
Bo has been incredible this game. Her impact has just been unmatched.
Well, she's up to 191 run meters in this one. Bo Vetty Welsh could be on her way to a record in that department.
Oh, without a doubt.
195 it's gone up to now after that run. Added a few more meters. 18-14. Well, you think about the Gold Coast, you think about roller coasters, plenty up there. Well, we've got one here at Combank Stadium this afternoon. This match of footy, you just do not know where to look next.
Sweet, thanks.
Maddie Studden will be hoping for a better conversion attempt here. Her only successful goal was the penalty from virtually in front, which came after the Titans thought it was half-time and kicked into touch. And it wasn't after the phantom hooter. Really taking her time. Deep breaths. Converts it. The Eels are out by 6. Nico sideline.
Yeah, one of the true live wires of this competition, Bo Vetty Welsh, was arguably player of the match in a losing side in that opening round against Newcastle and pulled off that incredible try-saving tackle on Cody House. last week. You'll remember she set up 2 tries in the All-Stars match as well and a try of her own here today. What a player, Bo Vetty Welsh.
(20-14). 10 all at halftime. The Gold Coast led 14-10. Back to 14 all Parramatta. And now they're out by 6. Steph Hancock scored in the first half. Seems an age ago now after everything that has happened. She's going to have to inspire her team. Big palm onto the face there of Laker Clark from Hanisi. Just over a quarter of an hour remaining at CommBank Stadium. Stubborn. Playing the ball is Pio. Halfback Stubborn. And the Eels are almost up over the halfway line. This is a good set after scoring points. Good run from Kennedy Cherrington. Taufa puts it under the arm and takes it into Titans territory. Final play now. The option from Curtin is to go high. Politi is there. She always is. So reliable, the Gold Coast Titans fullback.
It was a really textbook set straight after points. It was really well done from Parramatta.
Karina Brown put on her back by Taufa. Of course it was Samaima Taufa to make the tackle. Steph Hancock does what she always does best. Takes it up for the Titans. This is a terrific run from Laker Clark on debut. And then she's tried to play it too quick, according to Casey Badger, and it's all come unstuck. Are they going to challenge it?
Challenge is over.
So they cannot challenge.
Where do you want it? Sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
And that's frustrating for the Titans. Just a bit too eager on debut, Kira.
Yeah, she was trying to get up quick. I think there was a hand in it though, so one of those 50-50 calls as a player.
So Vetty Welsh, that is a record-breaking run from Bo Vetty Welsh, the first player in NRLW history to run over 200 metres in a match.
That is, I mean, I'm not actually surprised that it was Bo, but very impressive stats from her today.
And impressive from the lab as well. Straight onto that. How about that? 209 run metres for the Eels fullback. You wouldn't be surprised who's second on that list. It's the Titans fullback, Politi. Now Hanisi almost came through the other side. Final tackle for Parramatta. Big passage here for the Titans to defend. Vetty Welsh. And held in the tackle is Penatani. Had to be made by Jasmine Peters to keep the Titans in this one. Have a look at that. The two fullbacks dominating. Bo Vetty Welsh into the 200 club, the first player in NRLW history. Doesn't it just underline the quality of fullbacks?
Oh, without a doubt. Having those two as the top runners, after everything that we've said so far this game, like it's not surprising, and it's just a tribute to the athletes that we've got in this game at the moment.
They've got less than 12 minutes now, the Gold Coast, to pull this one out of the fire. Clark has got herself busy since coming on. Griffin and Gray. Well, Gray has thrown it out the wrong way. I don't know whether it was the momentum of the tackle or whether she got a call from the Eels. It was a real strange one. She was off balance, and that's been the issue for the Titans of late. They just have not respected the footy.
Steph, clear it. Wait here. Go, fun.
Penatani driving at Griffin. This is a worry for the Eels. Taufa in the arms of the trainer. Curtin. Johnston running off the angle, keeping the legs, driving Ellie Johnston. From the mid-north coast. Studden. It's hovering through. It's popped up and knocked on by Pio.
If Parramatta can maintain this kind of pressure, they'll go away with the win. They're really picking their moments well.
Well, it's just all about keeping that consistency, isn't it? And that's been the issue for them. When they've been good, they have been next level, Parramatta, but when they haven't, their defence has been very, very suspect, and that is what the Titans have to be thinking about. Rafstrand Smith, Brayley Narty, they know the Eels' defence, especially on the edges, has been a little feeble at times. Even through the middle, you'd say, and Brill has put it down. Again, the errors piling up here for the Gold Coast Titans.
Yeah, just having a look at these stats. It's about 12 errors to 8 at the moment. That might make it 13 on the fly. So it's just the thing that might be costing them that field position and costing them that time with the ball is these little errors like that.
Fantastic tackle from Mailangi. Penatani on the outside of Peters. Karina Brown around the legs. Penalty to the Eels. So compounding the mistake. Would you ever be thinking field goal here if they can't get over the line? Kira, Maddie Studden thinking 7-point advantage. She is the only player to kick a field goal in the NRLW. Why not put another one over?
Yeah, probably some smart footy if Maddie sees that one coming up. It still hurts to hear, but
yeah,
yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry to bring that up. Eels 10 metres away from the Titans line. Curtin. Kelly signs. Tamaya Kelly signs. He's playing it to Mailangi. Studden. Not looking for any field goals here. The Eels are going all the way through Pio. It could be a match-winning try, her first in the NRLW. And the Eels fans are over the moon with this scoreline. Just great hole running, wasn't it? But you're questioning the pass, Kira.
Yeah, just look at it. It looks like it may have travelled forward from...
Oh, that's harsh, isn't it?
Oh, but it was a great hole. Absolutely great hole.
We'll have a look on the... Looked as though the hands were facing backwards, but happy to be proven wrong. Maddie Studden, look at that. She opened the scoring after a scintillating Eels move. And now she's setting up probably the match winner for Christian Pio. Just before she's taking the kick, Maddie Studden just getting that calf massaged. So here we go. I've seen passes more forward than that result in tries. Not that that's saying that it's okay, but I'm happy to say it's flat. Are you saying forward? You're the referee.
Oh, I'm saying I'll leave it to the officials at this point.
Splinters. So Maddie Studden to put it out to 2 converted tries. So big kick because the Titans take a short kick off. They grab one back. They're well and truly in this. So this is a significant kick to make it a 12-point lead. The Eels looking to make it 2 wins this season. The Broncos, of course, the clear side out in front in the NRLW. Then it's anyone's guess. Such an even competition. And Studden has hit the post for a 3rd time this afternoon. Now she can even see the funny side of that. Now, Kira, in one match, you have never hit the post 3 times, have you?
No,
With
no,
convergence?
absolutely not. I can see why she has a little bit of a giggle at the end of that, because you just wouldn't imagine that ever happening.
Don't forget, straight after this, Titans Eels in the NRL. And just to confirm, so she hit the left upright, the right upright, and the crossbar, Maddie Studden. So that's the, I don't know what you call that, the perfect misses. Perfect match of... That's incredible. That is incredible. The Eels, though, they will see the funny side if they get the job done here. 24-14, a 10-point lead. Surprisingly, the Titans not taking the short kick-off.
Watch your contact there. Here. Hold.
So 13 mistakes they've made, the Gold Coast Titans. A lot of them at the back end of this second half. It's really hurt them. And they cannot afford to make any in these last 6 minutes if they want to get back and close. That got a bit awkward. Brown and Politi. Getting their wires crossed.
Kennedy, move!
So we talk about Vetty Welch going up over 200 metres today. Politi over 160. The 2 fullbacks have got through so much work today, but Politi's going to have to stand up further in these last minutes. Attempted 40-30 here by Brayley Narty. It's not going to come off for the Titans.
All the way to me. Point Destiny. Point to me. Go. Kimmy, step up and square.
Steph Hancock and Brayley Narty involved in the tackle on Daniels.
Stand up, Brittany. Go, 3.
Abby Church, what an afternoon for the Eels left winger. Scored a first half double.
Woo! Wait.
Rolling up the field here nicely, Parramatta.
Last tackle, Brittany. Bring it to
Final
me.
play here is Cherrington. He's going to roll it back. Just ploughed low by
14.
Emily Curtin. Politi couldn't let it run. It was going to sit up in the in goal and offend. She's going to go over 200 metres today, you sense as well.
Yeah, I reckon she'll have a good crack at it.
Got 4 minutes to get there and she's over 170. Karina Brown. Taufa again looking a little battered and bruised, but she'll get back up and keep going.
Joey, no more. All the way, Ellie, all the way. Wait here.
Natsapuna playing it to Brayley Narty, Hancock. Not much doing there for the Titans.
Ellie, up you get.
On the 4th play, they really will want to force an error from the last play kick here, the Gold Coast. That's a fantastic run from April Natsapuna, the 18-year-old, off the bench adding some impact. Griffin. This is going to be a difficult one for Church. Well taken by Abby Church. What a performance from her into the starting side for the first time in the NRLW. And she's done a sterling job on that left wing.
Yeah, the game she's played so far is the kind of game debutantes dream of. So very, very well done from her today. She should be very proud of herself.
Betty Welsh playing it to Studden. Naividi. Can they put the cherry on top here, Parramatta?
Out now. Last.
Eddie Welsh quickly had to scurry in there to get there to be at dummy half. Good kick in behind. Karina Brown picks it up. And it's a high tackle. So there's still some late hope here for the Titans. She was falling. Still high contact. Mailangi in there. The kick finds touch. It's a good touch find. Up over halfway.
I really hope we see the Titans play some creative footy here, because 2 minutes to go. They're this far behind. They really got nothing to lose at this point. We just want to see that skill and experience really come out for hopefully another try.
The Broncos next Saturday. They've got the Titans in the derby, and then the Knights to finish off season 4 of the NRLW. Natapuna. Brayley Nati. This is Kimiora Brayley Nati now. Politi taking them on. Ivania Politi driven over the sideline. She popped it back infield, and the Eels come up with the ball. And with that, it should be the 2 competition points staying here in Parramatta.
That was a very, very key tackle to make from Parramatta. They should take a lot of confidence into these last minutes.
The home fans, happy church with the juggle. The home fans hoping that this is the first of 2 wins for their side at Combank Stadium this afternoon. Do not forget, straight after this, it is the Eels and the Titans in the opening match of their seasons in the NRL. And here's a kick behind. Karina Brown would have to get on a bike here, and she did. Final play here for the Gold Coast Titans. The final set of 6 for them. An afternoon which promised so much. They led 14-10 just after half-time. But the Eels just coming home the stronger. They started the better of the 2 sides, and they have finished it off as well. Started with a limp. Kick from Rafstrand Smith. And Vetti Welsh picks it up. Jagged defensive line. Was almost set up there for Bo Vetti Welsh to run 50 metres. She might have got close to 300 for the game if she went all the way there. Final play here for the Parramatta Eels. And it's in the arms of Maddie Studden. She dribbles it into touch, and the Eels win at home. 2 wins from 3 to start the season. And that's a huge one against the Titans. The Eels get it done 24-14.
Oh my goodness. These athletes are absolute champions.
Round 2 of the ANZ Premiership starts Saturday with Pulse Mystics.